Hello, everyone. Welcome to the HR sharing tonight. The staff engagement and the communications will be started in 1 minute. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Very well, very well.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I saw some of the message. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm Cecilia, and welcome to HR sharing tonight. And the employee engagement and the communications will be start maybe now. Okay. I'd like to introduce our guest of honor, Miss Veronica Chang, and she was the one five-star hotel leader for, and unfortunately, the hotel was closed for renovation last year, and she will share the information and the story with you later on. And welcome, Veronica.
Thank you, Cecilia. First of all, I'd really like to thank you, Cecilia, for arranging this and inviting me to share the experience with all of us.
Okay, okay, I will share the screen with my PowerPoint. Just a moment.
Engaged staff is actually more efficient and they work more. And but I think to me, I think engagement is very much in a nutshell. Let's put it a simple way: is when they're getting on board, join the company. But whether they're really feeling on board, whether they're really feeling that they're on the same boat, right? So a lot of people think that monetary rewards sort of give them more incentive, give them more money, will get people more engaged, right? But I have a very different view. Monetary rewards to me sometimes is very much a board loyalty and board engagement. And usually a lot of the engagement activities doesn't is not very costly at all,
Yeah.
right? So what is also engagement is also very much a cycle. When you pay more effort to engage your staff, they pay more effort to contribute to the company, and they have better involvement with the company initiatives. And at the same time, the management give them more visible results of what has been happening. And when they see the contributions for the company as a joint effort to move the company forward, they feel happy, and they're more appreciated. They're feeling trust, and then at the same time could be some monetary reward coming back. And it's more like it can be like a cycle, right? More and more engagement, and then but then when at a certain stage, if you stop the engagement process, if you stop those initiative of appreciating people and trusting people, then the engagement will slow down as well. So on the other hand, if anyone, they're not feeling engaged, they're not feeling on them on the same boat, things get more and more negative. I see this is particularly important when a lot of company is driving change management. When there's a change that initiated at the top, if people are engaged, it's actually easier to see them that they are getting onto the same direction. They have more initiative. They think more about the change, what would happen after the change and so on. But for those who are not engaged, they would just walk away, or they would feel very negative about the changes. And as what Cecilia has mentioned, as the HR for a five-star hotel was just closed last year, I particularly see that it is important during a crisis, right? Well, you can imagine when a crisis happened, sometimes when the relationship is good, it's just like any renovation, right? When you move the cabinet out from the place, then you see a lot of bad things at the bottom of it. You see a lot of lost things at the same time, right? So when the hotel was actually closing down, we see this crisis, and a lot of the negative things and a lot of grievances are coming up. So I also see a lot of engaged staff, they react very positively even though in a crisis situation, but a lot of negative staff, they react very differently, I would say. So it is particularly important in phrases of change and crisis.
Yeah, I think so. But you think, I know the staff engagement is quite a challenge to all of us, and we all know that. But you think how to drive it to succeed? Any other factor to influence the staff engagement level, you think?
Yeah, I think there's really a lot of initiative, but also in principle, I always think that engagement initiatives or investment on the engagement is very much a gel. It's like a gel in an organization. It gels different layers and people together, and then it's also gel the visions and the missions and what people do together as well. So well, I would say it is very much both top down and also bottom up as
Yeah.
well, right? At the top level for the organizational leaders, they definitely have to drive the vision and direction to grow the company, not only in terms of the numbers, but also have a heart on how they grow the people, right? People will actually feel that. And also very importantly is the resources, right? The investment on how they want to plan their resources on, for example, training and people initiative, and how they plan, for example, those rewards to reward those very good performance. So these are something very important as well. And also for the organizational leaders, I think one thing is always missed is the trust and the time, right? Whether they're willing to delegate, they're willing to give authority to the management team, and also willing to invest time on understanding what are the needs of the people, right? So these are often get omitted, right? A lot of the leaders think that, oh, okay, I give money and then I give resources to HR, and then that's his HR business. But and I see a lot of very engaging leaders, they themselves actually put the feet into the people initiative as well. And they're willing to spend time to communicate with all levels, and even do skip level conversations as well. So you can see the hearts of those leaders. And the next level comes to the management level. Actually, the management level of the middle is very, very important. I would say they are the most critical parts of the employee engagement. They have to pass the top-down message, and at the same time, they also have to pass the bottom-up message to the management as well. So they're actually in between, and they're very important. So I think a lot of the focus has been on the investment, but at the same time, I think one of the very important investment is also on the management quality. What I mean by quality is the deliver of the daily staff experience, right? The daily staff experience is not only talking about how much money you give them, or how many promotions opportunity you give them, but is the daily conversation, whether in the daily conversation or daily management behavior, whether they feel fair in the evaluations
Yeah,
of
it's
their
correct.
performance and treatment, and whether they feel valued, right? Whether they are being seen, whether their performance is uh, being seen as important to the company, whether they are trusted, and most importantly, sometimes whether they are even being heard. I remember one time when I joined the five-star hotel. I've done some skip level conversation with the very junior
Mm.
staff. I asked, why don't you come to our hotel to have a dinner? And then he said, well, you know what? The hotel is offering 25% discount for all the staff, and I have to get approval from the management, and I get 30% discount off from Open Rice. So I said, and then I spent a lot of time on changing this process and making sure that they get better discount than Open Rice, right?
It's
Um,
unfair.
it's very unfair, right? And then it's very interesting, I would say. And then I spent a lot of time, I spent a lot of energy trying to change the process. And when I eventually changed the process after 2 weeks, and then I repost a poster onto the notice board, when I saw the staff that night, and then he come to say thank you so much, because I don't think that any moment of being in this company I'm being heard.
Yeah.
Just that is it's just like it's a very very small piece of incidents, but I think it's very worth to share. Is that sometimes being heard of their voice is so important to them. I feel very happy when he say that. And even though it's a very small thing, I think is a big part of the engagement as well. So whether the management level is really listening to their staff, and after they have listened, whether they have really take action on the improvement on the process, right? A lot of the process could be very unnecessary, creating a lot of workload, not purposeful at all. And when the staff tell the managers, whether the managers do any actions to improve the situation. So all these are about the management quality, right? Whether the company is willing to invest on training and alignment activities for the managers to align on the management behavior, and making sure that they provide a good daily staff experience to the staff. This is just so critical. A lot of the research has come to tell, right? People join the company because of the salary, but they leave the company because of their managers.
Yeah, that's true. I heard about that
Yeah.
before.
And I think one thing is also that I want to share is that from my experience, I also think that it's not only the organization leaders and the management who has a responsibility. We also have to bear in mind that the staff also has the responsibility. Why I say so is that they have to understand how they should be managed. Then I would be engaged, right? So if my manager keep on scolding me every day, and I don't know how to complain, and I don't know that he's doing a wrong behavior, and I don't know that the unfair assessment to me is not acceptable, that I do not voice, then I also have a problem, right? Then I feeling disengaged is also I also need to take part of it, right, as a staff. So and at staff level, they also need to understand, they can give a lot of voices, they can tell the management what to do, or what they think that, I should increase my salary, I should do a lot of things, but the opinions has to be constructive as well, right? So all this comes together. All these are the very important gel of the organization to boost the employee engagement.
Yeah, it's so informative. So you just mentioned the one case and you set in the staff case and you checked with the staff rate for the dinner offered by the hotel.
Mm.
And so that's why, yeah, you can do something and for the staff and also you can enhance the staff engagement level. So what is the HR role in so important in the staff engagement? How to step into the, use as the bridge from the management to the staff. You have to have the right and have the right position and have the right time to step into that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Well, I think it's very much a close relationship with what I've mentioned about, all the layers of the gel. We have to, work on that, right? Just now, and you mentioned about that is the, I've taken the initiative to tell the management that I want to do casual talk with all levels of staff, right? At the very beginning, the team is quite shocked about this initiative. But then they get used to the fact that we're only doing something constructive, right?
Mhm.
So we have to give them the trust on such kind of people initiative. Well, I think as HR or as a HR leader, we definitely have to be very resourceful on all the people initiative. We definitely have to be curious about what are the others doing, right? Just like all of us who is in this sharing section, I think you are also curious on what others doing as well. So get as much as information as what are the people initiative that you can do to engage your team, and then be brave to tell your leaders and be the best salespeople to tell your leaders that you want to push all these initiative. Because if you don't say that, then no one will do that, and no one will be benefit from that, right? So be brave and but at the same time, to be able to sell your boss that you want to do these people initiative, we definitely have to understand our business. What is important to our boss in terms of the business, and to understand our people, what is important to our people, right? So that our initiative become right to the point. And I personally do a lot of things, try to encourage the management to spend time and resources on the people, right? What I mean by spend time is they really spare part of their calendar to do skip level, to do roundtables, to receive the letters or look at the voicemail or the opinion box directly, right?
Mm.
This is very important. This is not only the job of HR, but then I think it's also their job as well to do a role model.
Mhm.
And the other thing that I keep on thinking is very important is when a lot of people ask about, how to do retention, how to do engagement. We can't do the daily conversation with our staff, right? They have their job to do. Our managers have their job to do. But what HR can do is gather the resource, gather the tips on how to manage people, right? To share with the managers, right?
Mhm.
Every company has different culture. We need to see what are the values of those culture, and then try to get, for example, coaching section or sharing of how to delegate, how to say thank you to your staff, how to appreciate your staff. No managers are born to be managers. They need to be taught as well. So
Mhm.
as HR, I think either we can conduct sharing section, or we can invite uh, external vendors to do the sharing section, to make sure that our managers do their job in terms of people management. Because a lot of managers, they have a lot of focus on the business, but the, who is driving their business is their people, right? So if they don't manage their people well, they're not able to drive that business. So they have to understand this is something very important. I think all of us actually know, even one court case or one problem staff will stop you from everything, right? So this is very, very important. Um, and then also definitely we arrange the resources, And I think one of the very interesting thing about engagement is that there's a lot of initiative about engaging family members as well. I see some of the companies doing great things in, for example, rewarding the kid who was given a prize from the school. Right, this is very interesting, right?
Yeah, I heard before. Yeah.
Very interesting. So it depends on the culture, but I think it's not going to spend a lot of money. But yeah, when you see the talk points and also the feedback from the staff and their family members, they feel that the company is also part of their family. Then it becomes very, very powerful. Definitely also when I talk to a lot of the young employees, their family are very rich. They don't the our generation said is actually they don't really have to worry about going to work and the money. So what to make them feel engaged is that sometimes they ask, why am I coming to work? Right? What is the purpose of my work? Am I helping some people, or am I driving a business, or am I doing something good to the world? Why am I here? And who would actually see I'm here? Right. So I think one of the very important role of HR is to see why people are coming to work, and to enlarge the values of the purpose of why they're coming to work. Right. So this is something very important. I've worked with an aircon company, and the initiative was actually to take a video of the service engineers, the technicians who is fixing the air conditioner. Right. At the very beginning, we want to is the video is for recruiting of people, but at the end of the day, we somehow managed to get one of the very senior technician to tell a story about an overnight fixing of the aircon of a hospital. And he said that he feel that at that time he was very, very satisfied about his work, even though he's only a technician. That he see that he saved a lot of people, because if in the operating theater or in the hospital, if you are out of air conditioner, it's a big problem, right? So, and then when everybody in the room watched that video, they were clapping their hands, and some of them, fall in tears. They eventually feel that's why they're coming to work, right? I'm fixing the aircon. It sounds like I don't have it's not a very, very big role in a company, but I help a lot of people, right? I'm important for the I'm not only important for the organization, I'm important for the community. So that's the purpose of the work. I think that is important I don't think it's only for the Generation Z, but then for all of us, right? So if as HR we are able to bring this kind of thing on the table and let them know why they're coming to work, that would make a very big difference.
Yeah. Wow, it's so many information, and I'm sure we learned a lot. I at the beginning I just mentioned that you work for one 5-star hotel. Actually, the hotel is the top 5 luxury hotels in Hong Kong. Unfortunately, the hotel is closed for renovation, and suddenly, over 800 staff were being made redundant with the short notice period. And as I know, some of the couple work for one same hotel, and the husband and the wife were suddenly received their unemployment, lost the job at the same day. It's disaster. Actually, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
But I know you doing very, very well, and you just turned this disaster to a positive side. And what are you doing? And just do the magic it turned out. Can you share with us a little bit more about what have you done and to have this result, the positive, total positive result?
Well, I think thank you, Cecilia, for the appreciation. I think I've just tried to do what we should do. Well, at that point in time, actually, is quite a shock to everyone because it's a big 5-star hotel, and then it's talking about quite a lot of people. I can't validate Cecilia's number because that is quite sensitive. But then it's quite 100 of staff. That was we have one announcement to let them know. Before the announcement, there was only 4 of the executive members, including myself, get to know about this and to prepare the announcement and all those compensation. So it's quite short to all levels, basically. And at that point, I really found that, as what I've mentioned in the beginning of the sharing, when there's a crisis, you see the engagement level become very, very important because people react very differently. We have arranged. First of all, I think in such kind of crisis situation, communication is definitely the golden rule, right? A lot of communication. Do not close the door. Open the door. Approach them, and making sure that you, as a leader or as HR, you are always available for anyone coming for anything, right? Because people have a lot of emotions. Just to share what we have done, we have arranged over 20 round tables, and each of those round tables is different language. It's from 10 people to 60 people in each of those round table. And I personally, myself, and also the resident manager was sitting in most all of those sections, have a direct conversation with the staff. We have to repeat 24 times of the compensation of what we will do and what they're going to receive and so on. But I think that's the magic, right? The staff also know that in each of those sections, we host directly, we answer the questions directly, we don't use microphone. It's in a closed room, and everyone has a chance to speak to us, raise their hands. You see that in different sections, people have very different reactions. For those who are very engaged, they are crying. For those who are very highly engaged, also in delivering their daily work, they're tapping the table. Some of those, you can imagine, shouting and asking what we do and turning very bad face and so on. But then I think the magical thing about those communication is that the direct conversation actually has absorbed a lot of the negative emotions, right? We let them shout, let them cry, let them tap on the table, let them say whatever they want to say. But that's all the purpose of it. 23, 24 times, it doesn't matter, right? Even those 50 times, if we are able to absorb the negative energy at that moment, let's do it, right? I think a big part of it. We do it immediately after the announcement, and then in those conversations, we also we also when they're talking about their grievances, when they're talking about some of the unfair treatment, unfair compensation, and so on, we take all into consideration, right? We're not opening up a window of endless compensation, but then we actively trying to know their grievances actively. I'm not sitting here and then wait for them to come to tell us our grievance, but we want to know what are those, right? Because that's sometimes there are only grievances there, but then some of those could be big issues when they go on to Apple Daily or when they go on to the court, right? So it is very important that we keep opening our door for them. And immediately after we receive all those negative emotions, we fix those problems. We give the first priority of those grievances to stop them going to any other source of labor department or any other media, right? This is very important. So let them know we are their solution, not Apple Daily, right? And after that, we actually at the same time we figure out that it is very important to quickly direct the focus to a new direction, which is help them to search for a job, right? So we've done a lot of things trying to use our limited resources, or even mobilizing the secretary or the administration of every team. What we have done is that we help them to retouch their CV, talking about every one of them. And then we also, you can imagine people working in a company for 30 years, he probably lost his CV already. So we search for the personal files, we dig their CV, taking out their CV, and then we write their CV to support them to send to a new employer. So they have a new focus on, instead of only looking at the compensation, right? So we also, at the same time, I think Cecilia is also, being very helpful. And one of them, they come along and actually to collect the CV. We let our staff know real person, real people as pretty as Cecilia.
No,
They come to the premises
it's
to
enough.
collect the CVs, right?
Mm.
They're killing up, so they have a new hope, right? So they don't keep on drilling themselves on why the hotel is closing, and so on and so on. So we get the hotels to come, and then we also connect with supermarkets. We connect with jockey club, and also a lot of the other industry where we think that they have they need the competencies we have in the hotel, right? So we also arrange LinkedIn workshop. We invited LinkedIn to come to the, actually, that was a serious pandemic situation. They do an online section. We invited LinkedIn to share how to do the personal branding on LinkedIn, so as to help them to get that job. And then we also organize CVs, and then interview workshops for those who in need. They can use the QR code to sign up in all these sections. And meanwhile, we know some of the staff is retiring. So, when someone is suddenly lost their job and don't have anything on their schedule, they feel frightened, right? They feel unsafe, right? But at their age, it's probably very difficult for them, right? And they probably has their granddaughter, already 20 years old. They don't really need a job. So we also look for volunteer work to post on our TVs and the corridor for them to sign up as well, so that some of them, if they suddenly want to do something to benefit the community, they can also sign up as well. Definitely, we also connect them with opportunities within the hotel, within the big hotel, the same group of other premises. I mean, for example, in Shanghai, in any other locations, and so on. We also connect with the counseling service. There are some free counseling service actually out in the community to help on psychological situations. So we connect with them. We post the connection details of those counseling service to let our staff, if they have any needs, they just call them up. As just Cecilia has mentioned, there are couples, actually both the wife and husband working in the same company. So for those, we actually have a particularly focus, and we help them at the back, but then, we're trying to focus directly, very much directly on those couples who are very much in need. And even for the retirement plan, we let them know that we're trying to negotiate with the trustee to, to lift up the fasting scale of the retirement plan, and eventually they're feeling very, very blessed. I mean, the company has already contributed or already accrued certain amount of money for the retirement plan, right? So for the unvested portion, anyhow, the company is actually taking that back. So what we have done is trying to justify and help those people, that help those staff by trying to lift them up, because they were actually thinking of the final numbers, for example, to be X amount. When you say the hotel is closing down, they're actually getting 80% of X only. So we also try to do something to lift that up. I think one of the very interesting thing that we have done is to also negotiate with the medical service provider, our outpatients and inpatient and dental service provider, uh, then they're very kind and they're willing to extend a very high discount outpatient and dental service to all the staff uh, within 1 year after their departure. So that was actually sent, the email was sent a few days before the hotel was actually closing, and that was, actually receiving a lot of positive response on that. And even at that point, I think people are feeling that we really have put ourselves into their shoes to think of what do they need after the departure, right? We even there are a lot of them, they're asking for reference letter, and then we even provide the reference letter template for their managers to just fill out their names and then provide a lot of positive adjectives for the managers to put onto their CVs, right? Because some of the you can imagine, for any hotel managers who looking after the daily work, they are not very they probably when you ask them to write a reference letter, they do have difficulties. So for this, we were trying to do as much as possible to help all our staff.
Well, you do a lot.
I think it's a teamwork.
Yeah, from the psychological inside and outside, and even financial and anything. You do a lot, a lot. You're really doing the
Just trying to
fantastic job
help
you have
them,
done.
as much as possible. Really, at that time, I think it's in the middle of the pandemic situation, and everybody feel unsafe about their work, and definitely the job market is very, very quiet, and it's such a sudden news. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so warm. Okay, thank you very for your sharing. At this junction, I will take some time for the question now. And just a reminder, please be sure to type the question into messenger box. And due to the limited time, probably we cannot cover all the question. And let's see any of the question you already typed that. Okay. You guys do not have any question, right? So we will move to the next.
Cecilia, can I ask instead? This is Rita. Cecilia?
Yeah, you can. Please go on. Yeah.
Veronica, thanks very much for sharing a lot of good stories with us. About the story you just shared with us about the closing down of the hotel, right? It seems to me that all the staff actually were kept in the dark before the announcement.
Yes.
The intention of the management not to leak out this decision, or what is the reason behind?
Well, I think it's first of all, when we haven't finished all the compensation parts, I mean the concrete money parts, when any information is being leaked out is a big problem. People will talk about that. People will get a lot of information comparing, and then the media will also start to cover that as well. So we want to actually minimize the minimize the discussion before that, before we have a concrete solution coming out as much as possible.
I see. Okay, good. And then for the whole exercise, right? What could like the management have done better if you had the chance to do it again? What could the management have done better if you were? Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things is that I've just mentioned, just like doing any cleanup of your home, right? When you move the cabinet out, you actually see a lot of rubbish at the bottom, right? I would say actually even though before such a crisis or on a daily management basis, we shouldn't have left so many things at the bottom unseen, or without any channels for the staff to reflect their grievances, right? When all these things are coming up from the bottom of the cabinet, we actually take even stronger effort to do that, to clear that at a very, very quick time. Then if we are doing that on a daily basis, we check with them, what are those that you think unfair, and what are those happening. It's just like very simple, like the roster management, right? So if we are able to do, something earlier, or I think that would be much better. We will have much more time on retouching the CV.
Mhm. Any question?
Yes, a quick one. Can I? This is a quick
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Okay. Veronica, in a situation where there's massive downsizing of staff and there is a union involved,
Mm.
can you just share some examples of how did you manage to navigate the union? Because some of us in Cambodia are having some issues with that.
Well, in Hong Kong, actually, there's no union. I would say very, very minimal union. But since I work in a regional role before, so I get to know. I think first of all, right. I think one of the things very important is that get in touch with the lawyer immediately. To be honest, right? They can help to prepare a lot of things so that you have the weapons on hand to make sure that when something happens, you have immediately a tool a tool or a letter to share with them that we are going to offer this and this and this. So are you happy and so on, and plan for the negotiation. I think you also have the service the union agreement, right?
Yes, yes. It's called the collective bargaining agreement. Yes,
Yes, the
yes, yes.
collective bargaining agreement. Yeah, that I think that's definitely is the basis. But then in any of those cases, get in touch with the lawyer and get assured of what are the resources that the management have in terms of monetary reward. And in a lot of the cases that have been dealt with, if there's any negotiation happening, or you foresee that is happening. Is always a the clearance of the what are those money we can offer, and then always offer a little bit more than the legal requirement to buy for the signing of the release.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true. I can share another story because unfortunately, and two of our group and two hotels under our group is closed.
Oh my
You know that?
goodness.
And another
Yeah.
one, yeah, another one is closed, and all the documents and made by the corporate side. And before they start to close the hotel and proceed to redundancy, they contact the lawyer and get all the information, all the letter, all the things, compensation package, all of things from lawyer approved first, and then talk with the staff. Yeah.
I see. I
So
see.
so far another hotel is also doing the very good job. Yeah. As I say, whether it's doing the good job or not, because we did not say any the negative comments and raised from the forum, because in hotel industry in Hong Kong, and it's not a traditional union, we can say that, but they will support and even supported those negative comments and from anywhere, and Facebook and all of this, every day, and you will see that this is so frustrated. Yeah. Yeah, but it's good things you have to offer some things better than law requirement, and to buy in, to get them buy into sign the paper, and also, as Veronica said, and no matter the financial and also the psychological, they make the connection with them. As I know, and upon the hotel closed, and Veronica formed the one group and invite all the staff into the one group, and so that they will connect with each other and they will share the good news within the group, and that is a fantastic, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay.
Any question?
Just want to add. Yeah. No question. Just to add to what Xiu Hang you were saying. Um, Very often, some of the HR they don't have, they have tensions with the union leaders, and as such, they don't want to engage the union leaders in the beginning of the discussion. That's what I've noticed in Cambodia. I don't want to mention some names until the point that they went to the media and they tarnished the name of the company, and And so I fully take your point, Veronica and Xiu Hang. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Any questions? If no question, we will go on the next. How next go on the next PowerPoint. Thank you, Veronica, for your sharing.
Thank you.
Right. So we learned a lot, and it's quite hard. Actually, we know the staff engagement is so important, and it is quite hard to find argument against staff engagement. And as we all know that engagement level directly linked to the organization goals achievement. So one staff who are engaged will be much more productive and committed to the organization they work for. So we all know that. So that's why I just summarized the behavior of the one engagement staff and another is disengaged staff and make the comparison and seen from the PowerPoint. And the left side is engaged behavior. You can see the optimistic, and in comparison, the disengaged staff is pessimistic. And the team-oriented versus self-centered. You can think about some of your staff maybe think in the left way or the right way, and you will know how much the level the staff engagement. Next one is it goes beyond, above and beyond. They were doing something by their own, and no need you trace the process and the deadline. But for the other hand, some staff were high absenteeism. And next is a solution oriented or negative attitude, selfness or egocentric, or show a passion for your learning. And but if someone will focus on the monetary worth or pass along credit but accept the blame. But some staff, if the disengaged, will accept the credit but pass blame. You can see that something happened among your colleagues and your staff. And next, I will show another survey from the global. And this is a global and staff engagement in 2020. It's before the COVID-19. It's conduct, I think, the January 2020. It's very famous, the survey and conducted by, they got around over 5 million responses from over 160 countries. They say 41% staff engaged as per the last January. However, 38 staff disengaged and 21 staff actively engaged. And let's see some, the data is very, very interesting. And you can see the staff engaged by tenure. At the beginning, especially during the probation period, 3 months, the engagement level is quite higher. However, after 1 year, it's dropped down a lot, especially during after 2 to 5 years. And then 5 years later, and it increased a little bit. It's quite interesting, right? The engagement level. So how to adopt and communicate better with employees to boost morale and confidence? Actually, boosting staff engagement is quite a challenge to HR and management. When we talk about the staff engagement level, it's normally linked to countless survey reports, meetings, reward system, money, or sometimes it's a lot of the new programs, right? But the simplest way to increase staff engagement sometimes is overlooked, is day-to-day communications, actually. However, another challenge today is to find the effective way to speak to your employees, because the technology changed every day. So find the good way and make sure where reach them is suit them. So let's say our survey say, okay, 25% of people say they recognize the employee achievement, genuine appreciation, and another 22% of people said honest, senior, and clear message or communications will played an important role. And 80% people will agree improvement communication with empathy. However, 30% of people will say, okay, just be direct approach and talking about the responsibility and the roles. And 10% of people say, okay, I prefer the regular and frequent communication with the staff. And other methods of the communications, including build a weekly touch point meeting into your schedule, bi-weekly schedule, or exchange ideas and boost rapport over the coffee break. That's true, because at our hotel, we have the breakfast meeting and once per week. And how about the method HR would the input to get the staff engagement level? Let's say 15% people will prefer make company expectation clear. 12% people will say share the organizational vision and goals. Another 12% people will say provide regular feedback and let them know what is right and what is wrong. And 11 people will say, okay, we need to provide employees with the flexibility. You know, last time I remember I interviewed one staff, a junior staff, and I say, what do you want from your leadership? And the staff said, I need the freedom. I need the flexibility. I need the empowerment. Okay, so you are junior staff and during the interview, how dare you can answer such the question? It's very, very, the young people, Okay, 11 people will say, train your manager in employee engagement best practice. And other ways to ensure that employee engagement is include offer professional development opportunities and carve out career paths, evaluate work process and address inefficiencies, and empower employees or survey employees about the motivators, improve the onboarding progress, and use exit interview. And we all know the staff engagement is very super important, but the middle manager played an important role and build the bridge between the top management and also your direct support. However, based on the survey and conducted by the Dell Camg Research Institute in 2017, only the 26 people middle management said, okay, we put it every day, and this is a top priority. But 42% people will say, okay, we just do the frequency. And the rest of the middle management said, okay, we just do the occasionally, and we never do it. So that is the attitude from the middle management. So how the HR can help the management or middle management to support business and organization objective and boost staff engagement? Here is the survey. 25 people will prefer an enablement-focused employee engagement initiative. 22% people will see synthesis session. And another 22 people will say recognize the employee behavior. and adjust the direction is right. 70 people will say bring company value to life, and 14 people will say provision of the coaching. Other engagement programs including online leader communication channels, the interviews, and employee-led teaching programs. This is the end of our survey. Next, we will form the team discussion. And I will bring out a little bit housekeeping before the next section started. And the two group, two team will be formed. And each team probably will select one as the representative. And the team representative will summarize the comments and ideas you guys discussed during the discussion. And the discussion will be lasted for 25 minutes. This is the question. I will text the question to the messenger box. Any question right now? So we have formed the two team and two groups. So that's why we only will have the one question and the two question. I will copy the question to the messenger box. So that you can see the two questions here. Can you see the question here? It's from the chat. And now
yes, we can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we will form the two group.
Cecilia, I will take the second question. You take the first one. So you'll be the facilitator for group one. I'll facilitate.
Okay, no problem. Okay.
Okay.
So can you help to break out the two rooms?
Okay, sure. Hang on.
So let's see the question. Okay. I will just question two, right?
Yeah, you do question.
Okay. The question to the top engagement initiative was.
Okay. So your group will be responsible for group one. My group will be responsible for group two. Okay.
Okay, no problem. I'm the group one.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
question two or one, question one, right?
Question one for you, two for me. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, let me open up the room. 20 minutes, is it enough? 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, let me open all the rooms. Florence not join. Florence to go to room one. Florence, you here? Are you here? Florence and Emmy, is that Emmy? Florence, Emmy, are you here? Hello? Florence and Emmy? Emmy, are you here? Florence, Emmy, you here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, stranger, I you to room one, but it's not, you are here, right? How can I assign you to room one then? Okay, Emmy, you here? Emmy, I am. You here? Are you here? Emmy? Emmy? Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah.
So,
So next we should summarize the point and the comments we discussed during team discussion. And Rita, shall you start?
Sure. Our question is the stories or cases whereby uh, some people in our company uh, did not communicate with empathy, and after that the HR person had to step in. So we share a lot of stories in our session, and Stephanie is the team representative who will do a summary of our discussion. Stephanie.
Okay, so we actually discussed about the first question regarding on the communication with empathy. So we did share with we have two scenarios. So the first one that was shared was as a team that they was having a lot of communication conflict and that was not resolved. So and the manager was not too sure what was actually happening within the team. So when things are actually quite heated up, the HR representative actually wants the manager to actually step into the team to analyze and to know what is actually the root cause of the problem that is causing the team to having such heated communication with each other, because no one knows what is actually going on and they will have been blaming with each other, and then with that it wasn't any teamwork within the team. So that was the first scenario, and then the second scenario that was shared was the boss in the company is quite an high ego boss, so everything has to be go to his own way. Everything that was shared by everyone most of the time is not acceptable, so only the boss say yes and only him can say yes. So whatever has been shared, whatever has been discussed, definitely is not what the boss wants. So of course the staff in this particular company, they would like to have a two-way communication. So in this scenario, it's only one way. So of course this particular staff, they're not able to handle this boss and decided to actually wanted to resign. But because of such behavior, the boss sees it as a threat to him and wanted to dismiss him.
Wow.
Yes. So that's why there was a HR representative to actually to step in to see what is actually going on, to talk to the staff, to know what was happening between him and the big boss. So so that was the two scenarios that was actually discussed.
Wow. Dismiss is, somewhere dismiss or dismiss is most difficult things we have to handle, and you let the people lose the job and with the reasonable reason, and this is a disaster, and as a HR we have to prevent that happened, because sometimes we have to make sure we will not go to tribunal. This is the worst situation we have. Okay, thank you very much. And for team 2, we discussed this, several things. We talked about the top management to step in and support and to gauge the staff engagement level. So we to have the 4 team members, Harsh and Sam, Winnie, and me, Cecilia. And for Harsh, he shared some of the ideas about his top management is so supportive to the staff engagement and give the necessary freedom, as long as the whole team, the goal aligned with the departmental goal or organization goal. And Winnie doing a lot of the suggestions and to part and first, and she she mentioned, and we encourage staff and top management or management have to listening. Um, and we have the commitment group. We formed a commitment group, and we decided on compensation policy and package. And we after got the survey from the competitive companies, and we'll get back to all the employees, and we'll see that is what the employee want, and that the initiative and got the support from the top management. So that's why we can get the staff engagement level higher. And secondly, she shared because her company is um, her work for healthcare industry. So during the pandemic, even during the pandemic, and the company got a lot of the profit and the revenue during the last year. So at this moment, her top management support the company continue to do the CRS and the social responsibilities, and to donate a lot of the PPE to hospital or to the other industry, and do a lot of the branding. And some shared something related to because her company at the Cambodian, and the still got the impact from the pandemic, so they have to do the salary deduction. And on the other hand, they have to divide the staff into the two type, the work method, uh, work of it at have to work from home, or have to work at office. But for the some junior staff, like a cleaning, like the technician, they cannot work from home, right? But the pay is not as high as much as the other staff. So top management is very, very kind, and designed to pay 100% and no salary deduct for those kind of the staff. So no need to uh, uh, do the pay deduction. So it's very, very got the support from the top management. Yeah. And I shared the and as I work for the hotel industry, and for hotel industry, we got the huge impact, huge hit from the pandemic, and our room occupancy dropped from 90% occupancy to single digit, even only the 3.8 or 3.5, and it's disaster for the hotel industry. So and every month since the last January, we lost the money, and range from maybe few million Hong Kong dollar to over 10 million Hong Kong dollar every month. So last February, and the February is the Chinese New Year, and the owner said, okay, we cannot give you financial support so much money. We only can support maybe few million, maybe half 50% of the last month. So you have to do, and you do the cost saving by yourself. And how about close the restaurant for 1 month in February? The February is Chinese New Year, and it's family union season. And if we close the restaurant, actually we have the 4 restaurant. We decided to close the 3 restaurant and keep the 1 Chinese restaurant in operating during the Chinese New Year. And which means the staff from the other 3 restaurants have to take their 1 month low pay leave. And the announcement make in short notice period, only the 2 days at the beginning of the February. So all the staff got shot, and especially for those 3 department staff, and they got no money, to spend and to have a meal with their family members during the Chinese New Year. It's big things. So when I got the information from my general manager, So we decided to cascade the information to department head because it's too short period, short notice period. So we have to cascade the information to the management, and let the management to cascade the information to supervisor and then employee. All the employee got shot, and so they fear the staff engagement level dropped the lowest, I think, and they fear nobody care about their financial and their life, so they seek the other way to reach out the voice through Facebook, through some of the forum, and either even they call the labor department and call the union and to pass the message. So every day I received negative comments from that, and even I cannot open my Facebook and turn on my phone, because when I turn on my phone, some of the negative messages were from my friend, and it said, okay, someone share some of the information and mention you in the Facebook. I said, I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear from that. Okay, so the Chinese year is also the disaster period for me. And then after keep silence for a few days, I decide I have to step up, and I have to open conversation with the all the department, all the employees. So I talked with my general manager and I said, how about we have the town hall meeting and face-to-face communicate with all the staff and see anything we can do for that, because the owner said the fixed amount we have to save from the payroll, and but we can do something by our own. And so the town hall meeting was organized, and all the staff, we give the time, we give the chance to let the speak out and to blame and to voice out. And of course, you can see a lot of the question, a lot of the one staff to stand up and say, how about you? And how about you, general manager? And you only take the 4-day or 5-day low pay leave. And why follow us take the 1 month? Do you know if this month I have no pay, and how can I sustain my life? I have to pay the mortgage. I have to pay my mother medicine fees and anything, so on, so on. So I find out during the conversation, I found that the trigger is because we closed the 3 restaurants and keep the 1 restaurant operating. And finally, we said, oh, how about all the staff and take the half month low pay leave? And they said, we think unfair because the one department take no pay leave, no need to take the low pay leave, but the rest have to take 1 month. So later on, I discussed with the general manager, I will do the proposal and all the staff will take the turn to the half a month and change it to the half a month low pay leave, at least they get the pay. And for some staff, like the cleaner, like some salaries below the fixed level, and probably, and for those staff, and no need to pay the to take the low pay leave or and take the less low pay leave. And so that I form the program, I calculate again and see how much the difference I have for the second proposal. And because the difference is not huge, so I got my general manager support and to negotiate those program, or this is the second proposal to the all employee, communicate with them and see if they still have the problem and we can solve the problem properly. No need to take the low pay leave and so on. And I cannot say I solved the issues peacefully, but at least they stopped voice out from the Facebook, from the forum. So the case is solved, but I have to thank you, my general manager. If without him support, without his support, I would not, step out and to propose the second and have, I don't know, benefits to those staff. So the top management is very important, even the staff engagement level. Yeah, that is my sharing and my team sharing. And thank you for my team sharing, and thank you, thanks team one sharing. Yeah. Um, anything you want to say, Rita?
No, I just heard about your story. I think you did a very good job in proposing to the management that we should only ask the staff to take half a month no pay leave, right? And then they could take turns to do. I think that's very good. At least we listen to the staff and then did the right thing to do.
I think the good things I step out and have organized, proposed a town hall meeting and face to face to solve the problem. But if I before the first proposal came out, I should have the face to face meeting and discuss with employees and to say, okay, how much we have to save and. Uh, we have the options 1, 2, 3, and which one you think is beneficial to you and also beneficial to the company. And if I do that earlier, it will be much better. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
And okay, this is this is the end of the sharing session, and after to ramp up the session and the staff engagement level, I have to say, and I learned a lot from the last year, especially during the pandemic period. But I can see from my case, from the other case, I can see actually employee or staff just want to feel they matter, and if they are aware the opinion and the ideas, the comments make difference, and we adjust. We we like to see, we like to hear the voice, and we pay more attention on the voice and their matter. And I think we will increase the staff engagement level, not just the money, not just the compensation package, not just the medical and the benefits. I think the others is met more. Yeah, this
Okay.
is what I want to
Yeah.
share with you guys.
Yeah, fully agree. Fully agree.
Yeah,
As you said, was it you who said people join a company because of the salary, they leave because of the manager?
yeah, yeah. That's true. Yeah. That is correct. Yeah. So middle management is very important and maintain the staff engagement level. Yeah. So
Yeah.
anything, Rita, you want to share with us, because probably we'll end here. We stop here.
I think we have already heard a lot of stories from different participants tonight, and I have to thank Celia for the nice arrangement tonight, especially by inviting Veronica to share with us her real story on how she tackled the redundancy stuff, and also especially I'm pretty sure that she did it in a very short period of time after the announcement, and she did it nicely.
Yeah, only I think the 2 months. Yeah, only.
So I think she did a very good job in handling the whole issue. So I think, Stephanie, would you mind if you send the summary notes to Cecilia so that we can incorporate it in her file and then send everybody a combined, I think it's consolidated file after the meeting today.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Stephanie. Shall we take a group picture before we close the session today? Shall we? But are you going to show your face, everybody? Everybody, are you going to do that? No? Just 3 of us? Okay, no worries. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I will include this picture in the file as well. Okay, so before we close the session, Florence still here? Florence, are you still here? Florence? No, right? Anyway, so maybe she's not online. Okay, so Cecilia.
Hi, Rita.
Yeah, Florence, are you in one of the chat groups? Because I have a question from one of the members from Taiwan, and I wanted to ask you about that question. Are you in one of the chat groups?
Okay.
Which one are you in?
Yeah, I was in group 1, right? Yeah, I was there.
Group 1, right? Group 1. Okay, I'll try to touch base with you then. Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Bye bye.
okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.